What's going on, beautiful people? It is I, your flying locomotive and faster than a speeding bullet SuperCliff, coming at you live with a brand new video. And for today's majestic and fantastic video, we are continuing with the luminous crime fighter himself, Moon Knight, issue number 22. But before we kick it, if you are new to the channel, then smash that like and subscribe button. That way you guys never miss out on anything that happens on this majestic channel. So what are you waiting for? Let's raise the bar and go full on Super Saiyan. Hit that subscribe button. Thus, without further ado, let's get weird and insane with Marvel's freaky Moon Knight, issue number 22. Alrighty folks, so our story starts off with Moon Knight in his Mr. Knight attire, joining Tigra and her son William at their apartment for a movie night. However, breaking news pops up. Apparently there's been a recent break-in, which has been a part of a string of bizarre robberies targeted at the homes of New York's wealthy. Now, although no money or valuables were stolen, at each of the crime scenes, a calling card was left begging, a clock stuck at midnight, thus leaving the authorities to believe that the MidnightMan is back. Now, the MidnightMan is an old-school villain of Moon Knight. In truth, he isn't really that big of a threat. He's more annoying than he is dangerous when compared to someone like the Green Goblin or Bullseye. He's a D-list supervillain. Also, there's been multiple people who have taken the MidnightMan mantle, but both the original Anton Morgott and the second being Morgott's son are both dead. Therefore, if MidnightMan is actually out there and is doing his thing, that means a third person has taken up the mantle. However, Moon Knight tells Tigra that it has nothing to do with the Midnight Mission, nor with anything that's happening at the moment. But Greer isn't satisfied with this, for she has predatory instincts, and she knows something's up. The next morning, Tigra gets in touch with Detective Flint, who's basically her go-to guy if she needs information, and thus she is able to get a hold of copies of everything that the NYPD has on the crime spree by the new MidnightMan. And throughout her research, Tigra discovers that this third incarnation of the MidnightMan made his debut a few months ago, and oddly enough, he went on a superhero trip where he busted multiple gangster and mobster meetings, but recently he started to break into the homes of the wealthy, law-abiding citizens, or at least that's what the victim's public image is supposed to be. Now, this is where Tigra's son asks if his father was rich, to which Greer confirms yes. However, unlike your typical corrupt rich folk, Hank Pym was an actual hero. Rather, he was one of the few rich people in the world who was well-roundedly good. The next night, Tigra finds herself hijacking Tony Stark's Wi-Fi in order to run a deep search on the victims. And aside from being extremely rich, Tigra isn't able to see any obvious connections between them, until she realizes that all four houses that were broken into were owned by the people whose parents got torn apart by a wild animal many years ago. Sometime later, we see Tigra teaming up with Hawkeye to stop Fast Five. No, not Vin Diesel. And it's during this fight where Hawkeye gives her a lead in her hunt. Thus, using the information she has and combining it with Hawkeye's, she finds out that there's only one house left. One house that remains that hasn't been hit by the new MidnightMan. And thus, that's when we pick up later with Tigra, where we see the werewoman biding her time as her predatory instincts run wild, as she stalks her prey from the shadows. However, as the MidnightMan tries to make his escape, Tigra pounces upon him, wrapping her claws around his throat and ripping off his mask. However, it turns out that the new MidnightMan is actually Mark Spector, and this, folks, it makes her livid. From here, Mark explains that after Zodiac took away his wealth, Mark needed money to fund the Midnight Mission in order to pay Reese and Soldier, so he started stealing from the gangsters. But Moon Knight couldn't do it himself, or else Mark would risk bringing the heat from angry mob bosses down on the Midnight Mission, which is why he brought back the MidnightMan. Mark has also been using the MidnightMan in order to help chase a lead that could reveal the identity of the masked man who took over the DJ booth in the previous issue. And since the parents of the people whose homes he broke into all belong to a secret organization of anonymous businessmen and financiers called a committee, whom, fun fact, in the past hunted Jack Russell, aka Werewolf by Night, well, it's here where Mark remembers Jack telling him that the committee once sent a masked man after him, to which fit the description of the DJ from the previous issue. And by using the MidnightMan persona, Mark was able to gain some important information. That, of course, the masked man being a guy by the name Sidney Sarnak. However, that's when Tigra shuts him up, asking if he has any idea how much he just hurt her. To which we see that this freakout takes Mark aback, for Greer holds him accountable for making her feel like an idiot, for trusting him and betraying the Avengers to have his back. So when Mark tries to tell her that it's not that big of a deal, Greer flips out, asking if he has any idea what it feels like to be lied to by someone that you love, along with having to live the rest of your life lying to your own son about who his father is. And here Tigra explains that although Hank Pym biologically DNA might match with Williams, her real son's real father was a Skrull spy, a Skrull who replaced Hank Pym prior to a secret invasion. But with the Skrull dead and along with that of Hank Pym, it's why Tigra lies to William that his father was a hero, because she will not allow her son to feel that he exists because of a hideous crime committed as a small move in a game of interstellar chess. With Greer letting Mark know that she walked into a vampire conclave for him, ran through a tomb dimension, fought a psychotic mercenary on the streets with an army of zombified Moon Knights. But after all that, Mark still couldn't trust her. He lied to her and felt the need to wear a mask on movie night with her son. And so that's when she walks off, but not before asking if Mark has any idea on how hard he makes it to be his friend. Picking up some time later at Tigra's apartment, with Greer and William getting comfortable for another movie night, that's when the doorbell rings. And upon opening the door, Tigra finds that it's Mark, but he's not dressed in his Moon Knight attire. Thus, it's here where he lets her know that he's extremely good at hurting people, and sometimes it's the people that he loves the most. Thus, he apologizes to Greer and admits that he should have trusted her from the start. But that's when Tigra in that moment kisses Mark and invites him in for movie night. And with her calling William to come back, she lets her son know that Mark is now her boyfriend, to which the response that William gives is gross. And that, folks, was the end of Moon Knight, issue number 22. And thank you guys for checking out my video, as it truly means the world to me. I'll admit, I've never been a Tigra fan. I don't hate her or anything, I just don't care. Like, basically, if you were to tell me that Marvel is making a Tigra movie or show, I would not be excited. Like, I can't emphasize how much I don't give a shit about this character. However, Jed MacKay has this skill in taking C to D-list characters and bringing them into a person's book and making you, the reader, actually give a shit about said character. Under the guise of MacKay's Moon Knight, Tigra's been a fun side character throughout the series, and I think that's the thing about her. In my opinion, she's not a character who can hold her own book, but she can definitely be a supporting character, and she's great at it. And I'm starting to really dig her and Mark's relationship. Mark has trouble trusting people. You know, he's the type of guy who does things by himself. And so to have Tigra in his corner, essentially saying, hey, you don't need to go through this by yourself, it's quite touching. Also, Mark discovering the identity of the masked DJ, who seemingly is part of a larger conspiracy, is great stuff. Overall, the series continues to be a kick-ass time, and I don't see the momentum of this book to be slowing down anytime soon. Overall, great stuff. So yeah, as always, I'm a majestic sayer of words, SuperCliff, and if you guys are new to the channel, then do me a solid by smashing that like and subscribe button, and also the notification bell so that you'll never miss out on an upload, and so that you'll always be kept up to date with your favorite top-tier comics happening in the comic book world. Now tell me, what are your thoughts and opinions on this issue? Are you guys excited for issue number 23? And are you excited for Jed MacKay's upcoming Avengers series? Let me know down in the comment section below. And until the next video, peace. Giggity goo.